Hi, and welcome to the second episode of Tina Talks Keto. Thanks to all of you who posted positive comments for my first video. My channel and these videos are about my journey on a ketogenic way of eating. My name is Tina Barkin, and for the past 23 months, I've been eating some form of a low-carb diet. I'm down about 60 pounds from when I started. As we go together with my journey, I'll talk about what I started with, what I'm doing now, and what worked and what didn't. In my previous episode, I started to get into what I ate and how I managed to lose 12 pounds in the first 6 weeks of my journey. I'm going to provide more information on how I started, what I ate, and how I managed to travel so early in my journey without too many hiccups along the way. Right up front, it's important to say that what you hear from me is my opinion. It is what worked or didn't work for me and me alone. The things I talk about in this video and any past or future videos are not any kind of medical advice. I'm not a doctor or a nurse or an EMT or anything related to the medical field. So before you make any changes, please see your physician. In 2018, and at 210 pounds, I went back again to Weight Watchers. I managed to lose a few pounds over the 2 years from 2018 to 2020. But then COVID hit, and I got depressed and sat on my butt. I didn't really have a choice about sitting on my butt, but I certainly had a choice about what I ate, and I ate garbage and gained the weight back. Weight Watchers was just another attempt without success. Then, one day in mid-August 2020, I'd had enough. Sometimes that switch just flips, and instead of being wishy-washy about something, rock-solid determination sets in. That was me when I started keto. No way on God's green earth was I going to stray on this way of eating. The first thing I did was join a Dr. Atkins Facebook group and get the food list. Then I cleared out most of the junk in the house that I liked but shouldn't eat. Although it's better to eliminate everything that's off the plan, and many keto influencers are fairly adamant about doing this, the reality is many of us can't do that. We have family members that live with us, and not everyone will be following this keto way of eating with you. They might come around to it, and they might not, and you shouldn't blame your family members if you stray because food you shouldn't eat is in the house. If you live alone, fantastic. You have complete control of what's in your kitchen. But if you live with other people who won't do this with you, don't use that as an excuse not to get started. Life has challenges, and you need to have enough fortitude to do what you need to do for you. You will encounter thousands of triggers, at home and out of the house. You'll walk or drive by Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. You'll see ads on TV for foods not on your plan. You'll need to navigate the grocery store without getting tempted with everything on all the end caps of the aisles. Yes, it's best to go only around the periphery of the store, but you can't do that without seeing something that's going to tempt you. Learn how to deal with it because the triggers are everywhere. Don't complain in a Facebook group that someone posted a picture that triggered you. And how can you tell the difference between a picture of keto lasagna and regular lasagna anyway? If you need that safe space in a Facebook group, perhaps your reasons, your whys, to follow a ketogenic diet aren't strong enough. And that's something that I'm going to talk about in a future video. So I bought Dr. Atkins' 1972 book. They are findable in used online bookstores. There are also a few Facebook groups that have online PDFs in their files. And for those of you who follow Dr. Eric Westman, His food list is almost identical with Dr. Atkins. Dr. Westman and Amy Berger wrote End Your Carb Confusion. I highly recommend reading that, especially if you want one of the most current food lists for starting a keto way of eating. With the food list in hand, I went to the grocery store. At the time, I was a real novice at selecting foods. I knew enough to glance at labels and look at the line with the total carbohydrates. And remember, I count total carbs, not net. I talked about that in the first video. I bought hamburgers, hot dogs, pork chops, and chicken thighs. I bought string cheese, Swiss cheese, deli ham, and deli roast beef, and heavy whipping cream for my coffee. I bought some mixed greens, the kind that are already mixed up in a ready-to-eat bag, and Marie's ranch salad dressing. I bought pre-chopped broccoli. I bought lots of eggs. I bought the fully cooked oven-roasted chicken pieces that Perdue sells. I also bought store-made rotisserie chicken. I bought already made chicken salad, egg salad, tuna salad, and seafood salad. I made ham and Swiss roll-ups for lunch. I made sure I had enough ready-made food in the house so that when I felt like eating, food was there and easy to grab. This is really important. It's much easier to stray from your plan if you only have the bad food around to grab quickly. If you have to boil the eggs, chop them up, add the mayo and celery and seasonings and whatever else you add to make egg salad, and then mix it all up, or you can grab the fried chicken that your teenager left in the fridge. Taking the time to make the egg salad is a much harder choice. It's much better if it's already there. I weighed and measured everything because that's what I do, but it isn't that necessary. There are limits on the amount of cheese, added fats, dairy, and veggies you are allowed, but you can eyeball the amounts. Usually that works for most people, and if weighing and measuring stops you from trying this way of eating, then just don't do it, but be realistic in your guesstimates. Then, if you don't see progress, one of the first things you can do is to measure out the portions. Sometimes, portions are something we really overshoot. Right in the middle of my first week of this way of eating, our family decided to take a 3-day mini vacation. Oh boy, nothing like going straight into the fire. Fortunately, I'm pretty experienced at dieting while traveling. I was always dieting and always traveling for work before I retired, and I know how to be straightforward with waiters at restaurants and ask for what I need. Good restaurants actually want to make you happy, and if you ask nicely and explain what you need, they will do it unless they literally don't have what you are asking for, which is pretty rare. So no sauce, no soups, because most have some kind of thickener in it, like cornstarch. No potatoes, no starches, no pasta or grains, and no dessert. Salad is perfect, and the dressings made from mayo, like Caesar or ranch, are okay in the beginning. Beware of balsamic, that can have sugar in it, as does Russian, French, and Thousand Island. Order any protein that's grilled or broiled, and if you order something baked, ask the waiter if anything is breaded or coated with flour. Skip the ketchup, but mustard is fine. If you don't want just water to drink, you can order diet soda, especially in the beginning of your journey. No alcohol for now because it can stop you right in your tracks. More on that in a later video. I had one day on this trip where I didn't feel well. It might have been the so-called keto flu, and yes, that can happen, especially if you don't take electrolytes or use enough salt. We lose water when we stop eating carbohydrates. And as we lose water, we can lose potassium, magnesium, and sodium. Start with salt, and if you feel a little off, add in the potassium and magnesium slowly. I did very well on my mini vacation, and when I got home, I was down a few pounds. Did I use keto sticks and check my urine? Yes. As I mentioned, I'm a data geek, so I needed to know. But again, you don't have to. If you follow the Dr. Atkins food list or Dr. Westman's list, and you don't stray, you will be in ketosis. If you're the type of person who gets stressed and worried, maybe you should skip it. There are some people who never show any ketones on their urine sticks, yet they do perfectly fine with this way of eating. It's how your body uses ketones. Urine sticks measure the ketones that your body doesn't use. So typically you start with a darker color and over time go to a much lighter color. As you move along in your journey, you will encounter all sorts of contradictions in how to follow this way of eating, if you haven't already encountered these. Limit protein or don't limit protein. High fats or moderate fats. Snacks or no snacks. Intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, or no fasting. How many hours to fast, if any? Multi-day fasts. When I started, I had not heard of any of this, and that's a good thing. Some of this is truly minutia and not relevant to getting a good start. If you are struggling and have been trying to do this for a long time, whatever a long time means to you, and you're overwhelmed with all of the different suggestions, a good idea would be to go back to the basics, get out the food list, and follow it for a while. I'm on my way to Keto Palooza in Louisville, Kentucky, so this video is going to post now instead of Saturday. Once I get back, I'll set up a schedule and give you all a heads up for when you can expect another episode of my story. Thanks so very, very much for listening, and have a great day.